Portugal has one of the best midfielders in world football. Bruno Fernandes, João Neves, Vitinha. These are players that dominate games in their various club side. But when they play together, something doesn't normally click. So here is the question. Is Portugal's midfield overrated? Or is it Roberto Martínez not able to get the best out of these midfielders? Before we get into this proper, make sure you subscribe to my channel now. Now, let's look at it. After Portugal's early disappointment in this FIFA World Cup, after they lost 1-0 to Spain, a lot of criticism have been everywhere. Some people are blaming Cristiano Ronaldo as a big-time disappointment. Some are blaming Bruno Fernandes, while others think that Vitinha is not a big game player. And also, some have also labeled João Neves as being overhyped. But what if these players aren't even the problem? What if these players are being used in the wrong way? Let's break it down. On paper, this midfield would have been what? An elite midfield. Judging with what? Based on what they did for their club last season. Bruno Fernandes was the most creative player in the whole Europe. You heard that clearly. Bruno Fernandes was what? Was the most creative midfielder in the whole of Europe. Vitinha is what? Is well known to control the tempo of the game for his club, for PSG. And you saw what Vitinha did in the UEFA Champions League with his club, Paris Saint-Germain. Joao Neves is someone who tends to win ball, cover distances, and you saw it in their game while playing for PSG, the European champion. So what would have happened? Now, when you bring these factors, they all came together to play for Portugal. All these things disappear. Imagine Bruno Fernandes only had one chance created as an assist during the World Cup. Vitinha was always passing sideways and backwards. João Neves even tried to cover some distance. These guys were total flop, first-class flop at the World Cup. So what could have happened? Is it that these guys are overrated, or is it that Martinez could not figure out how to play these guys? This is where things become more interesting. Bruno Fernandes always play better when he has freedom. You saw that at Manchester United last season. And he plays better when he's behind the striker, where he can give risky passes. But unfortunately in the World Cup, we didn't see such from Bruno Fernandes. There was no risky passes to the attackers. There was not even crosses from Bruno Fernandes. What he normally do at the theater of dreams. He could not do that at the World Cup. We all know Vitinha as someone that slowed the games down, dictate the tempo, and control the midfield. Unfortunately, we couldn't see Vitinha controlling the midfield in this World Cup. We couldn't see that from Vitinha. You saw the match against Croatia. He couldn't control the tempo. He allowed a 40-year-old Luka Modric and the other guy to take the tone of the midfield. So what could have happened to Vitinha? João Neves, who is the engine room, is known as someone that tends to win the ball, controls the midfield too. But unfortunately against Spain, we couldn't see that from João Neves, mostly in the second half. He couldn't win the ball. He allowed Rodri to overtake the midfield completely. So what could have happened? In past years, I have seen midfield trial that tend to dictate the tune of game, that tend to all control midfield. Take for example, the rainy times of Spain, where they have Xavi Hernandez, Busquets, and they have Iniesta. These three knows their what. They know what they are to do at the right time. Xavi as the ball controlling midfielder. You know Iniesta as one that dictates the tune. You know Busquets as the engine room of the midfield. These guys know what to do as individual midfield, playing as a trial for the national team. What about France? When France won the 2018 World Cup, they had Pogba. They have N'Golo Kante. They have Antoine Griezmann. These guys know what to do. Pogba is one that gives the passes. Antoine Griezmann is one that moves the ball forward. The N'Golo Kante is one that is the engine room of that midfield. They know what they need to do. But for Portugal, they don't even know what to do with the ball. They don't even know. Everybody's playing individual football without knowing what to do at the right time. Bruno is doing his own. Neves is doing his own. Vitinha is also doing his own. And these balls are down to the coach not knowing how to make this midfield trial becomes the elite in world football. So the big question is Portugal's midfield overrated, or is it being misused by Roberto Martínez, the coach of Portugal? Guys, let me get your opinion. As for me, I don't think Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and João Neves are bad players. I believe the system did not allow them to operate well. Individually speaking, they have their own good side. We've seen them last season for their various club side. All of a sudden, when they come together, they don't even have a definition of what to do with the ball. So to me, I believe the system does not allow them to flow, and that boiled down to the manager of this Portuguese team. Let me hear your opinion, guys. Make sure you write it down in the comment section. Let's